Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 1st of 2022, which means we are only weeks away from Star Wars Andor finally able to debut on Disney+, and we also got, of course, The Bad Batch Season 2, Tales of the Jedi on the horizon. That's really going to lend itself as pretty much marking the end of all the projects for this year before we get back into live action with Mando 3, Ahsoka, and more for next year as well. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that George, John, and Dave are really doing everything that they can to really propel Star Wars into a brand new path that's really going to really lend itself to the Star Wars fans, the old school fans, and of course, the fans that grew up with the prequels and more. They really want to make sure that Legends is going to come back to life. They're really taking a lot of key elements from the highlights of those books and those comics and throwing it into live action form. Now, with that being said, recently Kathleen Kennedy was able to tell the fans something very crucial about one of her upcoming Star Wars TV shows and what she was actually able to warn to the fans that may very well not be the best news for a lot of Star Wars fans out there because, let's face it, we already know that Kathleen Kennedy, at the end of the day, you know, what she did with the sequels were unacceptable. A lot of fans were very unhappy about that, and rightfully so. You know, and also, we also have another thing here is the fact that Kathleen Kennedy herself even stated a couple of weeks ago that she wants to do something completely shifting away from what John and Dave are crafting. So, moving forward from all of this, alright, now with Kathleen Kennedy developing her new Star Wars projects like the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, she recently lost creative power for 4 episodes over the Acolyte series for multiple reasons that Disney executives had to step in. Now, in a recent interview with Kathleen Kennedy, she went on to talk more about those shows and warned the fans about something very specific. Kennedy went on to state the following to the fans: "It's in our best interest to create something truly original with that, and with what we are doing with the Acolyte that Leslie is doing a wonderful job on, and John Watts doing his incredible work with Skeleton Crew. But one thing I must warn fans that are expecting something from these stories is that we are completely shifting away from George's vision." You know, I think that was long overdue, because when I mean we are shifting away from his way of seeing Star Wars and how it should be done, is that this time we are drawing something completely new on a blank canvas. It took us a long time to realize that holding that burden to please the old fans was holding us back, and I had discussed this with John Watts for Skeleton Crew. We wanted to give Star Wars a brand new theme. So anybody expecting George's vision of the franchise to be inserted into these series, like this one, should be aware that we are moving away from all of that. Now, I want to stop here quick before I get onto the more involved, things that she talks about. Skeleton Crew, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but basically this is going to be Stranger Things in space, alright? We already know and have learned that Stranger Things in space is basically the overall theme for Skeleton Crew. That's what they're really going for. That's what they're aiming for. And at the end of the day, when you look at it like that, alright, it just goes to show you that she's just ripping off another franchise that belongs to Netflix and kind of putting the Star Wars label on top of it. We already know one thing about Skeleton Crew is that it's going to feature Padawans lost across the galaxy trying to find their way back home. And number 2, that it does take place in the Mandoverse era. Basically, it is going to be a post-Return of the Jedi series. It's not in the High Republic. So, moving forward from all of that, we already know that Kathleen Kennedy is putting it out there very clearly now that they are completely detaching away from George Lucas's vision. They want nothing to do with George's concepts to be thrown into Skeleton Crew. They want nothing from his original trilogies to be thrown into that show. This is something like if you imagined somebody just stepping on board and putting a whiteboard up and writing something new. That's what she's treating Skeleton Crew as. It's going to have its own theme, it's going to have its own backstory, it's not going to really have that Star Wars-y feel per se. That's what she's aiming for, to give it a brand new theme. And I don't know about this, you know, I think that when you have a show like Skeleton Crew, which, by the way guys, I think that the title itself is a little strange and odd, but I digress. She goes on to say the following, alright? So, we don't want to make many references to his work in order to please old fans. It's about creating new ones now that can look up to a new philosophy for Star Wars. And I thank George for giving us this opportunity at the very least, because it gives us the chance to create a new style for the brand. It's something that we had planned many years ago, and it took a lot of effort to get Jon Watts to join us. He has done an incredible job with Disney, and he is doing such a beautiful job so far with this one. But I wanted to put it out there for fans that anybody who is expecting George's vision to be used as a backdrop for the series should realize that this is going to be completely detached from all of that. I'm in the process now of trying to figure out when we can reveal this show to the world, as we plan to end filming by next year sometime. This is going to be almost like having elements of horror thrown into the franchise, something I always wanted to experiment with as well, to really test the waters for this brand new way of storytelling that holds so much potential for the fandom. Now, before I get to the next thing here, alright, that really is crucial to how fans are going to view Skeleton Crew, is that they are going to be treating it as a horror Star Wars show in some places. I don't think it's going to be entirely a horror-driven Star Wars show, but like she says here, it's going to have elements of that. It's going to pretty much, you know, have themes of that thrown in there. Makes sense, given that it is going to be Stranger Things in space. You're going to have horror themes thrown into there. Makes a lot of sense. The other thing that I think a lot of fans need to be aware of is, alright, in case you guys have no idea who Jon Watts really is, alright? Now, if you guys have not really been following him, he actually was very much involved with all the Spider-Man films by Disney. He was actually a very big part of that. And given that there's a lot of things involved here of how Jon Watts getting involved with Skeleton Crew, if you guys did not like the Spider-Man films, alright, that might not be the greatest of news for you guys, but if you guys like the Spider-Man films, you know, it does show a little bit of hope that maybe there's going to be some decency in this series. But let's not forget that Kathleen Kennedy is running the show. She's telling Jon Watts what to do, and even though Jon Watts, I believe, I don't know about you, but I believe that he's a pretty good creator. I think that he's a great job, does a great job with all the things that he has worked on. He has a creative mindset, but at the same exact time, alright, we have seen this time and time again, when you have somebody great coming on board of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy always tells them what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And that's exactly what she's doing here with Skeleton Crew, alright? So, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I mean, it's always too early to say or judge something before footage even arrives. I say, once Star Wars Celebration arrives, which, by the way, is when they plan on really giving us that teaser, I think then and only then can we truly judge the show. Because we got to get an idea of how it feels, you know, by looking at it, hearing it, and stuff like that. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. And let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.